I'm Jonathan, and today I'm talking about the trade dollar. This is what it looks like, and that's the front end. This is a Seated Liberty, so it's a lot like the actual Seated Liberty coin, but a little bit different. She's a little bit thinner, and I like this design actually a little bit better. And then on the other end, we have an eagle. This eagle has the arrows and the olive leaf, like a lot of the other ones, a lot of other coins. And also, though, it says 420 grains, 900 fine. This is right there at the bottom. That defines the amount of silver it has. The trade dollar was minted to be used outside of the U.S. It wasn't actually minted to be used inside the U.S., though it was legal tender. The point of this was so that way American merchants or Chinese merchants going back and forth would have something to spend that was accepted in both places. For a while, about 7-8 years before that, the Mexican peso was very widely used and widely accepted in China. The only problem was that at some point they changed the design with the new emperor to actually have the emperor's face on it. So the Chinese probably thought it was betraying their own emperor to use that. They didn't accept that anymore. So a lot of governments actually started minting their own trade dollars to be traded in that area. So this isn't the only trade dollar. This is the American version of it. So then the American government decided to make their own. This is partly why it has the how much silver there was in it. So that way the Chinese would know, and they wouldn't have to just take the American word for that. It was a dollar. So a lot of times what Chinese would do is weigh it out and make sure it had the right amount of silver in it, and then they would put their own chop mark in it. A chop mark was their stamp of approval or something that each merchant would have his own, and he would just kind of stamp into the thing, verifying that he had weighed it and he found that it was the correct amount and that it could be accepted. The trade dollar was minted from 1876 to 1886. They stopped it because at some point the silver prices fell drastically, and the dollar was worth more than the silver in it. So to the Americans, the dollar was worth $1 to them, but to the Chinese it was only worth 3/4 of a dollar, and that's the value of the silver that was in it. So the Chinese stopped accepting it outside of the U.S., or they would still accept it, but not the price that the Americans would want it. And inside the U.S., what people could do is that they could bring in their silver to the mint to be minted into trade dollars or other coins. But at the time, it was only legal to do it with trade dollars. So they would bring in their silver, which was worth a lot less than a dollar, and then have it minted into an entire dollar and make some money off of that. And then the government would end up having to cover the costs of that. So the government was just losing a lot of money from that, and people weren't spending outside the U.S. anymore, so they stopped minting them. And at that point, they called in a lot of the trade dollars, and they melted down a large amount, which is partly why they're so expensive. This one I got for $150 or so, and that's in general why they're so expensive. And also, the mints wouldn't accept the ones with chop marks, so you can still get the ones with chop marks. They're actually really neat. I wish I had one, but I don't. That's about it for today as far as I can think of. I really like this design actually. It's just, beautiful layout. I think it's partly the font and, just how everything goes in according to with each other, especially on the eagle side too. Just everything really seems to go in with each other. It's a really, really nice design. Personally, it's one of my favorites of all the American coins. That's it for today, and I'll do another one the next time, a different coin. Bye.